Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about acupuncture points and the meaning of acupuncture points. This will be a two-part series where we discuss about the meaning of acupuncture points, and it will be a reflection of what I learned from a webinar named The Meaning of Acupoints, the Fascinating Relationship of Their Locations and Their Clinical Applications. And this was held by Dr. Daniel Deng, who is a Chinese medicine practitioner who has his own clinic and also who is a lecturer as well. You can find more about Dr. Daniel Deng at the link down below. This webinar was also held by Chinese Medicine Center. Chinese Medicine Center is a collaboration between Beijing Western Sydney University and Beijing University of Chinese Medicine. They regularly held webinars to Chinese medicine practitioners and also held workshops and also activities open to the public. If you want more information about Chinese Medicine Center and any upcoming webinar, their contact details are also linked down below in the description. Now let's start with looking at acupuncture points. And we're gonna start from what is acupuncture points. Acupuncture points to understand it, we can understand from the Chinese characters. Now, the first part here, this character means a cave or a hole. Cave or hole, and this character means position. Together, they mean the position of a cave or hole. If you put your finger on your own skin now, and as you're gliding down, if you feel a dent, that is probably where an acupuncture point is located by definition. Another way to look at acupuncture points is like this. We can look at it through our Sydney train system, where we have stations, let's say Campbelltown, let's say Chatswood, Strathfield. These are stations, and acupuncture points are the station itself. We also have trains. Inside the trains, we have people, passengers. These passengers are the qi, the blood, and the vital substances. The train carries these qi, blood, and vital substances to each organ through the channels, through the railroad, in order for the organs to receive nutrient and then grow and execute their functions. We also have different lines, T1, T2, T3, T4. You can think about these train lines as the channels or the meridians, and together they are called the channel system or the meridian system. And for more explanation of what meridian is, click in the video What is Meridian, where I go through the history, Chinese medicine understanding, and modern scientific interpretation of meridian. In actually 3 acupuncture points, all 3 contain a character called Huang. Again, if you want to know what it means, we can break down the character into the respective parts. And the first character means death. Second one means flesh, meat. Together they mean dead meat, dead flesh. In one way, it tells us that the severity of the disease. So if the disease is very severe, then yeah, that point is kind of indication of it. Another way is that actually dead flesh is actually also referring to a space. So this character is referring to a space, and this space is referring to the meridian system. So once we have this basic understanding, now we're going to go into the acupuncture points and the meanings. So here we first have acupuncture. I'll just write it as acupoints. The acupuncture point tell us the meaning or tell us meanings. It tells us many different meanings. There is some part a cultural influence on the meanings. What's more commonly is the meanings below here. So the common meanings in acupuncture point you'll find are like this. First one is location. Location, for example, small intestine 4 point. This point means wrist bone. The English translation of this point called wrist bone, which tells us the location of the point is actually just on the wrist bone, on your wrist. Second one is called, it tells us the function. For example, stomach 36. Stomach 36 is called 3 miles. The story here. The story is that back in the ancient times, it says that when the soldiers can no longer walk, and after stimulating this point, either by massage, pressing, acupressure, or even needles, they can walk extra 3 miles. So at this point, it tells us the function is actually to tonify, to strengthen your entire body. The third point, the third function is, it tells us the 5 phases. For example, or the 5 element, 5 phase. Kidney 5. You see kidney, right? This, well, is actually this. First of all, this point is on a kidney channel, and the name of it is called water spring. So water and spring, they are all water, and therefore that point is related to the kidney. The fourth one, it tells us the yin and yang. For example, gallbladder 34, and spleen 9. This is called the yang molding point. Yang spring molding or yang spring molding. And that one's called the yin spring molding. Now the last one is called aetiology channel. The channel, for example, level 3 is called greater flush. Now, this flush is actually referring to the thrusting or the Chung channel. In fact, it is actually the divergent channel of the Chung line. Lastly, there's also some specific characteristics of points. For example, all the backshoe points have like the character shu. The character shu. For example, bladder 15 equals xin shu. Right? Xin means hot. So all the backshoe points, whenever you see the shu, when you see an organ, a zang or fu plus a shu, it's a backshoe point corresponding to that organ. So once we have this basic understanding, now we're gonna go to furthermore. That's not a full picture yet. Some text says that the acupuncture points also serve as a function to preserve the cultural heritage, the skills, the implicit understanding and the application in order to pass on the secrets to one generation to another. Is sometimes they tell us a story, and other time we still could not figure out why the points are named that way. Ultimately, the reason we want to know the meaning behind the acupuncture points is to use them to diagnose, and to treat, for treatment. Acupuncture points itself, well, we can identify them first through the location, as I mentioned, because each point is on the meridian. So from the location itself, corresponding is also the function. So let's look at the function first. The function, as we mentioned before in the train system analogy, the function was to send the nutrients to different organs. in a nutshell, it's saying the function is actually just to communicate. It's communicating the body with the natural world. So we have body, maybe I'll just write it, the body, natural world. So communicating with the body and natural world. And oops, actually maybe it's better to write it in other ways. So we're just gonna swap it. So body, so let's write, yeah, natural world here. Natural world here and natural world and the body. So in the natural world, we know that they have pathogens, entering inside. This pathogen leads to a response of pathogenesis. Well, not only but also tells us the etiology. So, and together these two things, these 2 points are what the location infers to. So, right, so you see that the acupuncture points, underlying them, there is a etiology and pathogenesis of what may occur in the body. And the location infers or gives us a hint of what the possible etiology and pathogenesis. And once we know that, then we know the function of it. And once we know the function of the points, then we can know how to diagnose and treat. So you see here that the flow, I'm just gonna draw the arrow much more better. Here you go. So it starts with this. So you start with pathogen, interact with the natural world. In the natural world interact with the body. The body then responds with the etiology and pathogenesis. The disease, how the disease transform. Etiology means how the cause of the disease. Pathogenesis means the process of how the disease interacts with the body. These are the hidden meanings of the acupuncture points, and the location gives us a hint, a clue of what these are. Once we know what these are, we then know the function of the points, and once we know the function of the points, then we will know we will know the meanings of it, so that we can then diagnose and then treat. So there we go. This is the first part series of the meaning of acupuncture points and their application from a big picture perspective. In the next video, we're gonna go in depth of some of the fascinating, ancient, and interesting point combination, and also how you interpret the meaning of the points, the name of the points, to derive just really astonishing knowledge. Thank you much for watching, and please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to receive the latest videos. Thank you for your interest in traditional Chinese medicine. See you in the next video. Thank you.